I turned 32 this year, and I realized that I am not as young as I thought I once was. Not as young as I thought I once was. Got my bubble busted playing a game of pickup basketball with these teenagers. The other team was talking about who they was going to check. One of them came up to me and was like, "I got this old dude." Like, wait a minute, old dude? Like, I ain't that old. I'm still getting caught at the liquor store. Bitch. They putting up shots, they calling out current names like Kevin Durant. I'm like, Clyde Drexler. Hey, who the fuck is Clyde Drexler, cuz? Like, you don't know Clyde the Glide, baby? That's a legend. Well, what about this one? Oh, Magic Johnson. Hey, wait a minute, don't he got AIDS? Like, he had AIDS, but he got rich and found the cure. That's what happened to him. And what's up with Magic Johnson, right? Magic Johnson got all this money, and he still can't pronounce a K in basketball. You ever see him in these interviews? Basketball is a team sport. What did you just say? Basketball helps build character. Basketball, really? What are we, a 2-year-old now? Seriously, man. He done had AIDS for 20 years and he's still here. What's up with that, huh? Eazy-E had AIDS for 1 month and died. This dude's still around. Talking about buying the LA Clippers. It's ridiculous. This weather's getting nice, finally, right? This weather was horrible, wasn't it? Winter was horrible, brutal. Potholes, brutal on your car. Brutal on my car, brutal on my car. I had to buy 4 brand new used tires this year. It's right, brand new used. They new to me, goddamn. They ain't never been on my car. One man's treasure is another man's treasure. Shit. I can't afford bell tie. I gotta go to the Mexicans. That's what I gotta do. See? Where your neck at, son? See? Park here, my friend. That's ridiculous. Anybody here ever been in a relationship? Make some noise if you ever been in a relationship. A lot of people have been in a relationship. I noticed one thing about women. Fellas, let me let you know something about women. Women don't think the same way that we do. They don't think like us. For instance, dudes, we love it when a woman sends us nude selfies. We love it when a woman sends us nude selfies. Women, they don't care about that. They don't. You want to impress a woman, send her a picture of you paying the bills. Like, hey, baby, look at that. See that DTE, pay the whole thing off. Not the minimum due, the whole thing. You want to impress a woman, send her a picture of you going wedding ring shopping. Like, hey, babe, what's your size? You like this cute? Like, oh, women don't want to see our dicks. Women don't even like dick. You know what I'm saying? What? They don't. You don't believe me? Ask a married man. His wife don't want nothing to do with this shit. Like, baby, can I get a little something tonight? No, get out of my face. If you cheat on me, I take half your money. Good night. You don't want nothing to do with that shit. Ridiculous, man. Breaking up in relationships is hard, man. Seriously, man. Breaking up in relationships is hard, especially when you've been staying with somebody. Oh, that is hard. Especially for me, because I am petty as hell. I am so petty. I be like, yeah, give me these light bulbs, man. It was my energy saving light bulb. It was my idea to go green off up in here. See how much you save with electricity bill without me around this bitch. Let me get that tissue. Yeah, that's mine too. You didn't even know about 2-ply until you met me. You was only using that 1-ply, wiping your ass, breaking through the tissue, getting duty all on your fingers. You ought to be thankful for me. It's ridiculous. For real. Me and my girl, we broke up one time. She kicked me out the house. Like, you got to get your shit and go. It's like, all right. Took the Wi-Fi connection. Like, yeah, there you go. This is in my name. See how far you get on Game of Thrones without me, goddamn. Oh, they killed Joffrey. Ridiculous, man. And it's expensive. Relationships are expensive. I read an article that said the average date costs a dude $250 to take a woman out on a date. Yes, $250, a lot of money to spend on a woman. Get halfway through the date, she tell you she got a boyfriend, they just going through some things. Well, I'm just going through your purse, bitch, goddamn. Somebody go reimburse you for these shit of business. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you so much. My name is Jeremiah Party. All the way from Pontiac. Thank you. Keep it going for your host, Brian B, y'all.
So when I'm drunk, you know, just like everybody else, I'm just an exacerbated form of myself, and when I'm sober, I don't really care, so when I'm drunk, I really don't give a shit about anyone or anything that isn't me. So you can be like my best friend. If you're throwing up, that's on you. Like if it gets really bad, you're like on the verge of dying, I'll do something, you know? Like get someone to help you, because I'm still not dealing with that shit. No, I came here to party, not let you throw up Starbucks and pizza. You should know that if you eat like a white girl, you get wasted like one too, so chill the fuck out on the Jello shots, you stupid whore. Have any of you witnessed or like helped someone get drunk for their first time? Yeah, I've done it like multiple times, and I don't know what it is, but it never fails. It's like they think the alcohol is not going to work, so they just keep drinking in case the last 6 shots aren't going to do anything. You know? You're like, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, I'm just trying to get drunk. You're like, did you just throw up in your mouth and then swallow it? I think you're drunk. No, believe it or not, I'm usually like the parent at the party, you know? No, not like the responsible one, but the one that gets shit-faced, passes out on the couch, and forgets to take care of her children. Mackenzie Stroud, thanks guys.
I was driving through this town the other day, and I noticed they had a funeral home that was called Peaceful Journey. I thought, that's a nice thought. But what I really think it means is we don't fuck your corpse when you're dead. No, it's weird though, because it was in a heavily black town, and I thought, you know, they should name funeral homes by how people grieve. Like Peaceful Journey, that seems kind of calm, seems very reserved, that seems very white. Kind of thought the funeral home should be called Not My Baby! I think that would have worked a lot better. Truth in advertising. Guys, I like my women like I like my cars. Able to go for long rides without any gas. You gotta get those fuel-efficient models. I like my women like I like my cars. Asian. I already told you guys that. You know, guys, the other day I put my dick in my coffee. Don't worry, guys, it was iced. It's alright. My dick's fine. I know you're worried about that. No, the other day, though, I put my dick in my coffee just so I could say I like my women like I like my coffee. Full of my dick. Now I can say I don't mind a woman with coffee breath. You know what though, my penis is kind of like a McDonald's coffee. Because if it ends up in your lap, you're probably gonna sue me. The other day I had a stiff neck, was feeling real bad, and used some icy hot on my neck. Went to the bathroom to wash my hands. Got in the bathroom and I completely forgot why I was in the bathroom. Guys, I touched my dick with icy hot. Do you get this? Do you understand me? Touched my dick with the icy hot. 5 minutes later, my penis is numb, guys. I cannot feel a thing. And in that moment, I knew exactly how my wife feels. You could say I walked 4.5 inches in her shoes. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the show.
I seem to be overburdened with an abundance of idiots in my life. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the friends that I have are just becoming idiots or if I seem to be attracting idiot friends. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll give you an example. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine at my place and we were watching this movie. Some of you may have seen it. It's one of the most preposterous movies in the world. It's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. There's really nothing left to say. I mean, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a movie about Abraham Lincoln before he became president. He hunted vampires, right? Now, it's actually a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good movie, but again, the premise is so preposterous, right? How could that get through history? How could that be swept under the rug? Like, I can imagine some newspaper reporter, like in the 1840s, hey there, sir, why don't we put something in that chapter about all those vampires he slaughtered for 20 years? No, son, I don't think that'll play in the sticks. Let's just say he grew up in a log cabin, taught himself to read, and freed the slaves, and leave it at that. Maybe in 150 years we'll be advanced enough to have a bunch of shitty movies about vampires and a terrible show on HBO, but for right now, world's not ready, son. So we're 30 minutes into this movie, right? He's already slaughtered at least a dozen vampires as a young vampire hunter, and I'm watching this movie with my friend, and we really haven't said anything to that point. And then all of a sudden, there's a scene where Lincoln's talking to his new wife, and my buddy just looks at me and goes, all right, I gotta call bullshit, this movie's ridiculous. I'm like, really? Because we've been watching for 30 minutes. All right, why? This is the 1800s, right? Yeah. There's no way his teeth would look that nice. Let's see if I understand your argument. So about 5 minutes ago, when he ripped that vampire from taint to temple with the back of his axe handle, you were still on board until he smiled and you saw his pearly whites. Is that? Get out of my house. And see, you know, I mean, normally it's amusing, but what has me concerned, you guys, is that now it's starting to rub off on me. I'm starting to turn into an idiot. And the worst part is, like, clearly, I have to rely on my intelligence, because this, okay? That's all right, I made my peace with it. So if that's starting to go, I'm screwed, you guys. I'm 36 years old and I'm single, right? So I do like the Match.com things, for example. And I went to one of these mixers that they have where like you go out to a bar and it's just, you know, singles meeting up. And I walked over, there was this nice looking young lady at the bar, and I walked over and I said, hi, my name is John. Are you here for the Match.com event? And she said, yes, I am. My name is Saxony. Very unique name, right? And you could tell as soon as she said it, she was preparing to explain it like she had her entire life. But I jumped on it, you guys. I was like, oh, Saxony. You mean like that region over in Europe? You should have seen her face. She lit up. She was, oh. I was in, you guys. I could have said anything. She was like, how did you know that? I could have said anything. I could have said, I went backpacking through Europe, or I was in the Peace Corps, or I don't know, I chased a unicorn for a year in Europe. It doesn't matter. I was in, right? So she looked me down and, oh, how did you know that? And I said, oh, I play a lot of Risk. Nice talking to you. You have a good night. And then it got worse. Then I actually, like a couple weeks later, I had a really attractive young blonde girl, just beautiful young girl, actually like in a captive environment where, like, she couldn't even run away, you guys, right? I was getting my contacts. I never had contacts before. And so when you go get your contacts, you see the doctor and you do all this and they get your prescription, and then you sit down with someone and they teach you how to put your contacts in and out because it's something you have to learn, right? So this nice little young girl is sitting there, she's like, okay, now, don't worry if it's hard, because sometimes people have trouble doing this because it's awkward because they're not used to touching their eyeballs. And I went, oh, don't you worry, I touch myself all the time. No. So I'm single, ladies, and I feel like I have a girlfriend sometimes, though, because like the interactions I have with my iPhone, I feel is kind of the same thing. I mean, I hope it is, because that's the only thing keeping me from swallowing that bullet. But like the other day, you know, I was trying to text something on my iPhone, and it went to autocorrect, and I was trying to text assume, you know, I assume. And halfway through, it stopped me and suggested, I swear to God, it suggested that I type ass meat. I don't know if you know how autocorrect works, but it doesn't suggest something if you've never typed it before. So clearly, and the thing is, you got that Siri voice too, so in my head, it sounded more like, assume, really? I'm sure you meant to type ass meat. Right? But lately, like, I actually learned something from my iPhone. I kind of learned a relationship lesson from my iPhone, you guys. Ladies, I know now how important and why it's so important that we listen. I know how important listening is now. I finally realized why that means so much to you. Because again, I was texting on my iPhone, and I was actually in an argument with someone, and I said, I wanted to type, you fucking bastard, right? And I got a couple letters in, and it goes, did you mean you fuck bag? You know what I did? You knew that about me? Because you listen. So I get it, ladies. That's all I'm saying. And let's talk about dedication, ladies. Let's talk about dedication for a minute. I am dedicated. When I make a commitment, I honor that commitment no matter what. So ladies, if you want a man that's committed, I'll even give you an example of how committed I am, okay? Several years ago, there was, when I was in my early 20s, there was a really big movie that was premiering, and like my friends and I, we waited in line for like 6 hours in the lottery to get a chance to buy a ticket to this premiere, and then we got tickets, and admittedly, it was Star Wars Episode 1. All right, granted, that was a terrible decision. I get it. But for me, it was exciting at the time, right? Like, even my dad was excited because we grew up watching Star Wars together. Now we're going to go see the midnight show of this huge premiere. And so we planned a night going to, like, beat-ups and drinking and having a whole night and then going to the midnight show. And so I told my workplace that I worked in the summer when I was home from college, I'm like, I need this night off. I have to have this night off. So sure enough, that schedule came for that week like 3 months later. And guess when they had me scheduled? That night, right? They had me closing, and I wouldn't have gotten out till midnight. I would have missed the movie. And I'm like, you know what? No, this is bullshit. I made a commitment. You got to give me the night off. We settled out, okay, I'll get you out of there at 10. But it didn't sit well with me, you guys, because I made a commitment to the whole night, the whole thing, not just the movie. I made a commitment to my family and my friends, and damn it, I was going to keep that commitment. So it was about 4 o'clock. I was walking in to start my shift. I said, nope, it's not going to go down this way. So I walked over to my manager, and I looked her directly in the eyes, and I shit my pants. Stay with me here. And I said, I can't work tonight. I just shit my pants. And my boss, of course, didn't believe me. She's like, whatever, you're going to have to work. And I'm like, no, there's shit in my pants. And she says, prove it. And I'm like, all right, follow me to the bathroom and we'll settle up. We only had to go about halfway because the odor started to linger. So what I'm saying to you ladies, if you want a guy who would be willing to shit his pants for you, I'll be in the back. You guys have been a lot of fun. Keep it going for everybody. See, thanks a lot. Brian D, everybody.
You know the only thing worse than snorting a line of coke off some dude's dick? So when there's no coke, you're just sniffing a dude's dick. It's terrible. It's awkward for everyone involved. I don't like it. I don't want to do it again. Put it that way. I told that joke to a girl at a bar once. I said, this is the only joke I have that's kind of quick and doesn't involve acid. I said, the only thing worse than snorting a line of coke off some dude's dick, she said, snorting a line of cum? I was like, yeah, that's way fucking worse, you're right. Thanks for breaking my joke, bitch. Thanks a lot. That's why I don't tell that joke to strippers anymore. They always know something worse. Always. I watch TV sometimes, I see beer commercials. When I see beer commercials, they're always trying to get me to drink their beer. They got slogans, they say, They're always like, whatever happens, come, let's get weird, something like that. They're supposed to try to inspire you. And they never work for me. Nothing ever gets me to make me want to buy their beer. If they want me to go buy their beer, they need something that really triggers with me, something that resonates with me. I think if they just had a slogan like, "Get your dick sucked," like that'd be something I'd be like, okay, I can relate to that. Like that's something I'm into. I'm feeling that. That sounds good. And Bud Light was just like, "Hey, Bud Light, hanging out with bros, listening to music, grilling meat. Go on, grab a case and get your dick sucked." I'd be like, "It's time to get some beer. I'm trying to get my dick sucked. That's for sure. If there's one thing I'm trying to do, it's that." Men cherish dick sucks because we know you could phase them out at any moment and we wouldn't really have an argument. You'd be like, "It pokes me, it gags me, it sprays me with goo, it's gross and hairy and sweaty," and we'd be like, "Fuck, come on, you know? Please, why not? Dang it." We had a tough case in the court of law. Today's case, Law and Order, dick sucks, yay or nay? I don't know why you girls are sucking a dick. You guys are born with a terrible burden. Every day a woman is born, she's gonna suck a dick one day. And I feel terrible for you. You gotta have babies, you gotta suck dicks, you gotta shave your legs, you gotta paint your faces. You need a new union rep. You got a terrible contract. Your contract's terrible. What are you thinking? I'll be your union rep. I'll trade you. You give me some dick sucks, I'll be a union rep. I'll take care of this. We'll get a new deal for you. We'll get you paid as much. We'll start shaving our legs. We'll suck your lady dicks. A deal's a deal. Fair and square. Yeah. Things are escalating quickly up here. It's okay. I took acid last night, so everything's weird. It's okay. We're on it. We're all in this together. Genitalia is the worst, though. I don't like genitalia. I like it. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like genitalia. But we all do. We like it, but just because we use it for sex. Like, you know, like we like booze because it gets us drunk. But if you were to give me whiskey and to get me drunk, I'd be like, "Fuck that whiskey." But it gets me drunk, so I like it. You know, we use our genitals for sex. And we're like, "Oh, it's beautiful. It's great." But if you were to just see like a dick floating in the air and a vagina on a log, you'd be like, "Oh, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. Get it away from here." We use it for sex, so we love it. It's beautiful. The dick is just a beast. It's a grotesque beast. That's flopping around with his two cronies, poking, prodding, searching for weakness. It's always poking that penis. It's always poking. I don't even know. Women, you just wake up in the morning and there's a penis poking your hip. Probably like 50% of the time. You sleep with a boy, 50% of the time, you're gonna wake up to a dick poking you. It's like, I don't know, I'm sleeping at that moment. My dick's on autopilot. It's like, he's asleep, I'm looking for food. You never know where you might find an orifice. And I keep searching. On top of everything else that the penis doesn't bring to the table, if you do right by it, sprays you with goo. That should be the straw that broke the camel's back, ladies. What are you thinking? The goo? What a classic dick move that is. Someone's real nice to you and you spray it with sticky goo. No respect. Dick's gross, the vagina's no picnic. I like the vagina. Trust me, I'm a big fan of the vagina. If the vagina ran for president, I'd vote straight ticket vagina. But, you know, aesthetically, you know, you ever looked a vagina right in the face? It's like a little slime goblin, you know, like it's always got an attitude problem. What's its deal down there? I remember when I was younger, we didn't know what a vagina looked like yet. We were in like 6th grade. We all had different theories of like what it was. And my theory was that like the vagina was this, the female asshole was like an all-purpose pore. It was like poop, pee, dicks, did it all. A deal's a deal, did it all. It was just like a conductor in there, like, "We got a dick coming in, shift it over. Come on." And I was wrong. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not. I remember when we saw a vagina for the first time. My buddy had this magazine, and it was like a real dirtbag porn, and it was like this girl with like this leg spread, like scientific style shot of the vagina, and we all gathered around and remember thinking, "Oh, we were way off." That's crazier than I could have ever imagined. It's crazy. It's like the dick sucks, you know, I mean, it's no good, but at least it makes sense. Like you poke it in stuff, it sprays. I feel like once you've ridden one dick, you've ridden them all, you know? Vagina's like nature's riddle. You just kind of like, ooh, let's figure this guy out. It's a new, every time you meet a new one, you gotta figure out its riddle. You know? I just think the design process was a little bit flawed with the vagina. I don't know, I think God was making the vagina, and he was like halfway done. He had his boys over, he said, look, what do you guys think, vagina? And they were like, I don't know, God, that's looking a little weird. And he was like, I got this. I'll fix it, don't worry. A deal's a deal. And he said, it was like when you were in high school and you had a project, and you had a poster board for that project, and you fucked it up, but you only had one poster board, so you just had to add stuff to fix it. I think that's what God's approach was when he was fixing the vagina. You know, he was like, flap, crack, lip, button, slime, vagina. I'm Mike.
I call my dick Cole. Call my dick Cole because nobody wants it for Christmas. And the only ones who get it are bad little kids. Yes! Like, I have been dating and I've had some accomplishments, but not things that I'm willing to tell my family, you know, like, hey mom, I fucked a 21-year-old, woo! That really happened, yeah, I can't call my mom and tell her that. So all of these accomplishments that I've had along the way, I can't tell them, so they think like I'm going nowhere, I'm getting nothing, I've been lonely forever. And it's frustrating, and I think I finally figured out a way to tell them about these accomplishments, to equate them to comedy shows. Like I'll call my mom and be like, hey mom, had a one-nighter last night, one-night show. Last night, really young crowd. Really young crowd. Really loud crowd, really loud. Tight crowd, real tight crowd. Best crowd in a long time. So I think that's gonna work. Said I have been dating, I was on a date with a girl. And we were at a fancy Italian restaurant. So I was trying to swing some dick. And while we were eating, there was a guy walking around playing the accordion. And I watched the guy for a little while, and I realized he was pretty down. He looked pretty upset. And so I watched him for a little bit longer, and I realized he's upset because he's getting the same 2 requests. He got the same 2 requests the whole night. That's amore. And shut the fuck up. Very long though, because on that particular date, you guys, I got laid. I got laid on that date. It was, no one believes me, that's cool. Cool. I mean, it happens every day, so no big deal. No big deal. Yeah, I was raised somewhat religious too, so I felt a little bit guilty about this, because, you know, premarital sex is frowned upon in Christianity and a lot of other religions, but so I felt bad about this, but I felt like I got a pass because for this particular girl, she happened to have a Bible verse tattooed right in this general area. I spent a lot of time in this general area because I'm a giver. Move your left hand. Oh, you have a ring on. Fuck. Never mind. I'm a giver, you guys. I'm a giver. So I was down there for a long time, so I was able to memorize a verse. And I'd like to share it with you now. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider that I have made this my own, but this one thing I do, forgetting about those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are ahead. Because that is the most clever way a girl has ever told me she won't do anal.